From acknowledging that he had an affair with his baby mother to disparaging an NBA player and singing about killing a female assassin, Keyy Barnes' songs reflected his reality. These odd situations were frequently real. The FBG Wiki made an attempt to murder someone. According to Wiki, V would likewise plummet, and the two would tease one another with death in a single tweet, making FBG Keyy one of his favorite operations. V said, "We'll be killed before him, not before you thought." Wozai would regrettably be shot first, and V was quick to disparage him in his music in the track Back Again. Von tweeted, "Shoot up everyone outside, Von der Leyen." Given that he made a tweak and produced a grandson for President Von der Leyen, I'm sure Wookie is still twitching. He was shot, so he's on medication. Von discussed the shooting at a funeral for Whiskey's friend Y, a rapper who was shot in the head in 2018, and many people claim that Y has never been the same since. Chris alias Doozy Thon was shot and killed by an OP. After he died, Von boasted in a text that he would surprise We tonight, and the All Block members exploited the fact that Doo's funeral would be packed with activities due to our reputation in the neighborhood. On the afternoon of October 17, Dopey's funeral was a flurry of activity.
We've learned a little bit more about the victims this afternoon. There were a total of 6 people who were shot outside the church. It was a pandemonium, a scene of pandemonium right after that happened. Many of those people who were shot were leaving a funeral inside the...
During the funeral, several gang members, including Wookie, who were grieving for their fallen comrade, drew their weapons and retaliated when a car pulled up. Wookie was shot in the head and fell to the ground, but fortunately no one else was killed. In their 2012 Twitter exchange about his murder, Wookie promised V that he would outlive him, and he is still alive today. Gregor alias Tuka has become a national celebrity due to Chicago's ongoing gang war, and several rappers have made fun of him in their tracks, and King Von was certainly not exempt. Von der Leyen saw that boy walking past the bus, which is the last stop. Tuka was one of the first children killed in a 2011 Chicago gang war. The events leading up to Tuka's horrific shooting started at 6:45 p.m. on January 12, 2011, an apparently normal evening in Chicago's Woodlawn neighborhood. Channel Gregory, then 15 years old, had no idea that he would once again be standing at a bus stop on the 500 block of East 63rd Street. Tuka and his 2 friends were not alone when a man approached them as they waited for the westbound bus on 63rd Street that night. He asked if another bus was coming, looking innocent at first, but it was the beginning of something much bigger. The man's menacing manner did not foreshadow the violence he would unleash without warning. The man behind the bus shelter produced a silver pistol, pointed it at Tuka, and fired a single shot in a matter of seconds. The gunman was unrelenting. He followed Tuka and, with terrible accuracy, shot him 3 more times in the back as he staggered toward a nearby garbage can in a desperate attempt to flee. Tuka lay motionless, knowing that his life would end in a few seconds. Quickly evaluating the situation, the paramedics found it was too late, and Tuka was pronounced dead at the scene. The Lil Mark murder case, other people, including Tuka, could also die at a bus stop. This is an alias, Mark Campbell. In January 2019, V had to fire Lil Mark after he suffered the same fate. When Memo 600 and King Von worked together on their song, I found that they made fun of some of their businesses, including Lil Mark on the Von Rap song. Lil Mark released a trash song called No Competition prior to his death on March 25, 2014. I'm tired of Scrap and the synth of Chua and Lil Mark. My plan is to create a new bundle. It was a bold attempt that targeted well-known rappers Lil Durk and Lil Reese, as well as the street group OTF. 3 days later, on March 28, 2014, tragic events took place. For Lil Mark, the fateful day began like any other day in Chicago, but it would end tragically at around 1:27 p.m. Lil Mark was waiting at a bus stop. In a feud with NBA YoungBoy before his untimely death, King Val went to the studio to confess to having slept with his girlfriend in the song. None of these Von Rs know they are dookies. V used social media to spread the vicious story about the young child, posting pictures of himself with the young boy's baby mama after tweeting, "Won't believe the female I just made a hit with." Jania and V were accused of sleeping together instead of making music when they first met when she first appeared online. Jania cleared her reputation on Instagram, stating that they had simply made music because she needed the money for her child.
Like I said, I don't fuck with no nigga. I been working. We have a song coming out. Y'all wasn't supposed to know, but fuck, it is what it is now. We have a song coming out. So when the song come out, y'all gon' fuck with it.
Asian, seemingly angry, took to her Instagram to confirm the rumors.
Little boy knew about the rumor beforehand and took it personally, posting on Instagram, "I'm going to make sure my son is your daughter since you are trolling a bit." A distressed Asian confirmed the claims on Instagram, stating that she had seen the direct messages between the two and that the music explanation was untrue, but the damage was already done. There have been rumors in the industry that Asians cheated on V with Little Boy. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence is that Little Boy, who broke the internet on January 14, 2022, used Asian's Instagram account to send a message to his producer 2 days before Von's tragic murder. Little Boy added a hook to the song's lyrics after it was released, making fun of the late King Von and his entire team. The long-term murder of Troy, although they are both dead now, V and his best friend Troy lived by the pistol and murdered many operations because they knew their time was coming. King Von's song, "All These Niggas Von RS, Look How You Feel for Real," included shout-outs to T. Roy, who was shot and killed first. We were told that O Block Pack is being held up for murder. The good news is that this diss song did not start a new gang war. Get wrapped up, you Atlanta boy. As an additional point of reference, he had one specific opportunity in mind, and that was none other than TB from Tawan World. Just a month earlier, TB had released a diss track in which he made fun of all of his operations, including A Block T. Roy. He went out, as usual, to search for TB in the 2000 block of East 71st Street, a known TB hotspot in the South Shore neighborhood, hoping to use the element of surprise to kill him as Troy and his friends were walking down the streets. And according to the footage, his operations TB and Can't Get Right were hot on their trail. In search of Troy TR, when Roy and his associate entered a store on 7th Street, he was on one of the aisles conversing with his associate. CCTV footage showed TB and Can't Get Right entering the store and heading toward their rivals a few seconds later. TD's right hand was slightly behind him, concealing a firearm. It was unusual that Roy was caught without it. He must have assumed it would be a verbal altercation that ended in fists because TB could have shot him as soon as he entered, as most hits do, or he could have waited for him to go outside, but he approached him as though he wanted to do so. Troy fell to the ground as TB suddenly lifted his pipe and started firing rounds. Shortly after Troy was transferred to Northwestern Memorial Hospital, Troy died from his gunshot wound. Notable rappers close to Troy, including Lil Durk, Lil Reese, 600 Breezy, and Chief Keef, posted their shock and grief on Twitter. Troy's death was swiftly avenged when TB was shot dead by Troy's brother. Who and other members of Tull later killed King, also known as HK. FBG Wooski hides from V, and V and Wookie often argue on X. One day, Wookie tweeted King Von, "You are afraid to enter the store because you look me in the eye," to which V responded. They were talking about a time when V ran into Wookie at a store on 63rd Street, and rumor has it that Wookie saw V and ran into the store to hide from his eyes. V was unable to fight him because Wookie hid behind his guys in the store, and in one of his songs, V claims he didn't shoot up the store because he didn't have his ski mask in the track On Your Ass. Ometa B, you locked the door when I tried to return, so you got up and went behind your guys. Von WPS was at the store, but I wasn't wearing my mask. Despite the fact that Von and we had previously met in the street and thrown hands, this was the last time the cops were given a pass.
I interviewed somebody, man, and they was telling me about a time when you and Von got in a fight in front of O Block.
When Y and his friend were out, they saw Von Wee fighting V, A fourth person tried to rescue V, but the police were already there and stepped in right away.
Walked in King's Drive and they was standing right there, and the police and shit pulled up, and they thought they was just gonna stand right there. We got the whooping their ass. Me and him got the fighting, then some other mob came and jumped in, and the police came and broke the fight up. We all got up at it.
But King Von's account of what happened was different. He said Wose had been beaten.
Hey, Wose can't tell y'all I beat his ass one day. He ain't tell y'all that. He too dumb to remember. I punched his ass.
We should toast since it happened so fast. The horrific CCTV footage showed a dark car halt in the scene of FBG Duck's murder on August 4, 2020, near Michigan Avenue and East Oak Street in Chicago's Gold Coast area. A month later, King Von, who rapped the song, released GTA, a diss single about FBG Duck. Von is now a ghost. Armed men jump out in front of a store and begin shooting as Duck makes a futile attempt to flee. Duck is killed when they jump back into the black car and drive off in a gray Chrysler that was also involved in the crime. Additional footage showed a police car chasing the gray Chrysler as it pulled up to O Block. As the weeks stretched into months, the detectives worked tirelessly to piece together the CCTV footage. The trial and video evidence that placed suspects at the scene revealed that FBG Duck was killed for defaming T. Roy, and researchers made a major breakthrough when they found a digital breadcrumb trail connecting the incident to the All Block Gang's boastful social media posts about the assault.
Stuff like that. I don't know. Okay. All I know, don't say that about Troy or rest in peace, Duck. You don't say about Troy. That's
NTARVIAW 1025/1036. Duck raps T in the song The Remix of Me. V would send Duck a direct message that read, "I'm really helping you out, but Roy isn't shot in the head, and there are a number of dead people present. You might sense me because you're not hitting on anything right now, and Mother is bringing you up. You welcome Goofy Duck." The representative would later refer to him as a fan, "and you had to bring me up in order for you to perform numbers like all your other foolish males. Then just say you're a fan. I wasn't going to diss the dead." BB Duck continued to say in the July 2020 song Duck Raps Made Chicago Legends, in which he disparaged All Block. While doing so, T. Roy and OB were assassinated. It was merely business. The last straw must have been the murder and death of FBG Duck a few weeks later in July 2020. The rapper was shot and killed at the junction of Michigan Avenue and East Oak Street in the Chicago Gold Coast neighborhood. King Von may have paid $100,000 to have Duck killed, according to information that has surfaced. Killed the assailant of FBG Brick before his brother shot and killed FBG Duck. To mock the song, Von pushed Von WS to jump on a record. "It's a switch. They say I hit it even though I can shoot a brick." They caught that brick, after all, and struck him in the face. FBG Brick, his cousin, and Kobe Mack were in the Woodlawn neighborhood on July 17, 2017, when a car stopped up and tried to find FBG Duck. When they couldn't find him, the car drove away.
They were standing out there, and this block was full of people. And the story that I'm hearing was a car pulled up and asked for Duck. Like, "Yo, Duck out here?" And everybody looking like, "Who is you?" They didn't recognize who was in the car.
When officers arrived on the 6,300 block of South Street Lawrence at around 2:50 p.m., they found a horrific scene. FBG Brick was discovered in the back gangway with gunshot wounds to his arm and back, while Kobe Mack was lying in front of the house with a wound to his skull.
Instantly shot Kobe, and Brick tried to run and jump a gate and was shot in the back.
At the age of 17, reputable female assassin Keyy Barnes, commonly known as Keyy, was murdered. Years after her murder, V was the primary suspect. Both men were declared dead at the scene of Key's murder. By the time she passed away, young Keyy had become a crafty assassin on the streets of Chicago, and Von Dist had given us a nice op in a morgue call when he was in the track war with us. Key's mother described her daughter as a sweet and innocent young woman.
"I'm just gonna miss her presence. She was a very, very beautiful, well-known, lovely girl."
According to reports, Keyy killed someone when she was just 14 years old, and she may have been involved in up to 20 killings before she passed away. She was credited with killing O.V. Perry, one of O Block's most admired, feared, and esteemed shooters. According to reports, the killer had taken Odd's gun and shared pictures of himself using it on social media. Before long, Perry was the only person linked to the rumor. Barnes attacked O.D. Perry on social media, but on April 11, she was shot by a hooded shooter in front of a house in the 6400 block of Southeast, sharing the same fate as her victims. Keyy was struck 9 times in the mouth, neck, and chest before collapsing on a neighbor's doorstep. She later died from her injuries at Northwestern Memorial Hospital. She went for a walk that day with a friend, her brother, and FBG Duck. Shot wounds but survived. Witnesses identified V as the shooter, leading to his arrest. However, the accusations against him were dropped since the police were unable to prove his guilt in court. V was suspected of killing Keyy when King Von was killed in a horrifying shooting in Atlanta years later. FBG Duck, Keyy's brother, who was present at the incident, denied this though.
And what I know is, on my dad, Von didn't kill Keyy.
He claims to have seen the shooter and that the murderer is already dead.
I got shot too. I was right there. I got shot too. I saw the motherfucker who popped us. He dead.
Since it's now widely accepted that V didn't 69 snitches, give them credit for the hit. When 69 chose to cooperate and testify against his group, King Von was quick to let him and anyone else who might come into contact with him know how he felt about the track suspects because he detested snitches and anyone who had anything to do with him. Von Tomilas is 69 snitches and has a rat. He admitted that he was a member of the Ruthless Bloods chapter known as the 9 Trade Gangsters. Indeed, 69 and 4 other companions were arrested on November 18, 2018, and charged with federal RICO and firearm violations, including conspiracy to commit murder and armed robbery. They might have been imprisoned for the rest of their lives.
Were you a member of any gang?
Yes, sir.
What was the name of the gang that you were a member of?
The 9 Trade Bloods.
He also acknowledged in court that the group was involved in several crimes, including drug usage and assault, according to an audio recording of the rappers.
What sorts of things did 9 Trade members do?
We participated in a lot of, violent crimes, robberies, assaults, drugs, such of that nature.
After serving a brief jail sentence, the rapper was shunned by everyone. Podcasters and artists didn't want to be linked to him or offer him credit and recognition. According to well-known hip-hop specialist DJ Academics, he was asked to do an interview by 69 label 10K Projects, but no one was ready to take the chance.
Call me back 5-6 days later. We try to get him an interview with everybody for him to explain his side. Nobody wants to do it. I said, what? Nobody wants to touch it with a 10 feet.
However, when Nicki Minaj chose to work with the outsider on the song Troll, the hip-hop industry went crazy. It's easy to conclude that King Von lost respect for Nicki when he insulted the female rapper in an effort to express his opinions. I used to believe Nicki Minaj was incredible, but after reading one tweet, I realized that certain people will stop at nothing to break every rule, trade, and moral code. In another post, he added that V lived what he rapped about, which made him a fan favorite for some, but a monster for others. Regardless of how you feel about him, click on the boxes that are playing on your screen to see similar stuff. Go for it, friend. If you want a taste of the fast life with desperate, easily influenced people, it won't even be worth the pain and grief you've gone through.